Dear students, today I'm going to discuss with you all about the consequences of migration from chapter number 2, migration types, causes and consequences. Okay, and this chapter is from the book India, People and Economy. So in our previous class, we have already discussed about migration, the term migration, as well as we have discussed about the different types of migration. Okay, even we have studied about the Indian diaspora and the spatial variation of migration within our country, India. So, what happens when the people migrate? Okay, what happens when the people migrate? When the people they are migrating from one place to another, so what is the outcome actually? Okay, that we will be studying here in this topic, consequences of migration. Okay, so when the people they migrate, okay, it causes changes in both the places, in the place of origin as well as in the place of destination. Okay, so here today we are mainly going to focus on those consequences of the outcomes which takes place in both the place of destination and the place of origin. Okay. So as we all know that migration refers to the movement of people from one place to another. So why do these people they migrate actually? The people they basically migrate from the place of low opportunity and the low safety to the place of higher opportunity and better facility. Okay, better safety. So you will notice that any person who has migrated from one region to another or from one place to another, they have migrated for some better opportunities. Okay. For example, we see that the people migrating from the rural area to the urban areas. So why do the people they migrate from the rural to the urban areas? Because in the rural areas, opportunities are very much limited, whereas in the urban areas, opportunities are more, wages are high, okay, and they get a regular source of income. So this is the reason that the people they are migrating from the rural to the urban areas. Okay. So because of this movement of the people, okay, because of the migration of the people, both the benefits and the problems takes place actually. Okay, both the benefits and the problems it occurs. Okay, in the place of origin, that means the place from where the people are migrating, as well as in the place of destination, that is the place to which the people are migrating. So these consequences or the outcomes of migration can mainly be grouped into four different types. Okay, the consequences of migration can be grouped into four different types. That is the economic consequences, the demographic consequences, the social consequences, and the environmental consequences. These are the four different consequences of migration. That means, okay, like when the people they are migrating, changes, positive and negative changes takes place or outcomes takes place in the economy, it takes place in the demography, in the social setup, as well as in the environment also. Okay, some changes can be noticed. Okay, so basically the consequences of migration has mainly been classified into these four different groups: economic consequence, demographic consequence, social consequence, and environmental consequences. So let us discuss in details one by one about these various consequences of migration. So first of all, let us start with the economic consequence of migration. So, the economic consequence of migration is related to the economy of the place of origin and the place of destinations. Okay, so as we all know that the people they migrate, okay, to some other areas or to the places of better opportunity to earn a better livelihood. Okay, to earn more money actually, you can say. Okay, so these people who are migrating, okay, from the place of origin to the place of destination, okay, they send money. Okay, after earning some money, they send money, okay, to their family members who are living in the previous place actually. Okay, so those money which is being sent by the migrant people, it is known as the remittance. Okay, and this remittance is the major benefit. Okay, it is the major benefit for the source region. That means the place from where the people has migrated. Okay, so this remittance, okay, for the case of the internal migrants as well as for the case of the international migrants, the remittances it plays a very important role. Okay. So a major benefit for the source region is the remittances which is being sent by the migrant. Okay. So remittances from the international migrants are one of the major source of foreign exchange in our country. Okay. So in our country, we have seen that many of the people they have migrated to different countries of the world. Okay, and these people they are working in different other countries. Okay, and they are sending money to their family members who are living in our country. Okay, so Remittances from these international migrants is the main source of foreign exchange. Okay, it's one of the major source of foreign exchange in our country. And apart from this, okay, within the country, the people who has migrated within our country, actually, the remittances, okay, it also plays an important role for the source region. Like you will notice that in our country, most of the migration, it takes place from the rural to the urban areas. Okay, and who migrate? Basically, the male people, they migrate. So this male population who are migrating from the rural area to the urban areas, in the urban areas, they are earning much more money as compared to the rural areas. Okay, because in the urban areas, better wages are there and a regular source of income is there. Okay, so they earn money in the urban areas and they send some money, okay, to their family members who are living in the rural areas. So the family members are getting benefited. They are utilizing those money or the remittance for the schooling of the children, okay, for the food, for medical treatment, for the marriages, for construction of houses, as well as for agricultural practice. Okay, so it is the money sent by the people from the urban area, okay, to their family members in the rural areas. It helps in the development of the rural areas. Okay, in the same way, the people who has migrated to the other countries, they are also sending money to their family members in India, and the money is being utilized for the benefit of the family members, and indirectly the country is getting benefited. Okay, so you will notice that many majority of the people of our country, okay, they have migrated from Punjab, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Okay, so Punjab, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, okay, these are the three states which receive a very significant amount of remittances from the international migrants. Okay. And these remittances, which are being sent by the international migrants as well as by the internal migrants, they are mainly used for the food, for the repayment of the debts, for treatment, for marriages, for children's education, for agricultural inputs, as well as for construction of houses, etc. Okay, so this is how, okay, the migration, okay, it causes some changes, okay, in the economy, or you can say it causes some changes. Okay, it brings some positive changes in the economy. But you will notice that uh, in our country, actually, okay, like the people who are migrating basically to the other countries, okay, they are the skilled person who are migrating. So there is a like you can say loss of human resource, because this group of people who are migrating to the other countries, they are working from the for the MNCs, they are working from the other countries and all. So the other countries are getting benefited. Okay, we are also getting benefit from the remittances only. Okay, but this group of people, international migrants, if they would have worked here in our country, then our country would have prospered more. Okay. Here in even in case of the internal migration, you see here that for thousands of the poor villages of Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, etc., remittances works as lifeblood for the economy. Okay, so there are many villages, poor villages in Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Himachal Pradesh, from where the people has migrated to different urban areas. Okay, and the remittances is the main source of you can say economy of this poor villages, of the people living in these poor villages. Okay. So migration from rural areas of eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, and Odisha to the rural areas of Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh accounted for the success of their green revolution strategy for agricultural development. And not only this, the rural to the rural migration. Okay, in our country, rural to rural migration also takes place. Okay, so rural to rural migration has also helped in during the green revolution. Okay, in our country, because yeah, the agricultural sector, okay, it requires the involvement of many large number of laborers. Okay, so basically the green revolution became successful in the western part of western part of Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, and Punjab. So in these states, or in this part of Uttar Pradesh, actually, okay, the farmers, okay, are very much rich actually. Okay, and they have a very large plot of land, and they require many number of agricultural laborers to work on this land, actually, agricultural land. So the people from the rural areas of eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, and Odisha, they have migrated to this region, okay, during the time of green revolution, and they started working there as agricultural laborers. Okay, and because of their effort, okay, the green revolution has become successful, you can say. So besides this, unregulated migration to the metropolitan cities of India has caused overcrowding. Okay, and most of the migration takes place from the rural to the urban areas. So when many number of people, they migrate from the rural to the urban areas, overcrowding takes place. Where? In the urban areas, in the metropolitan cities. Okay, and leads to the development of the slums. Okay, like the slums like conditions are developed in the metropolitan cities. Like in Maharashtra, the Dharavi, okay, which is one of the Asia's largest slum. In Gujarat, Karnataka, Kerala, Delhi, and all. Okay, the major towns in the cities of this Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Delhi. Okay, they have received a large number of migrants from different parts of the country. Okay, and which is actually like caused a severe impact on the economy. Okay, because already it is saturated with the number of laborers and all, and excess number of laborers are there. Okay, so like even in the urban areas also, the newly migrated people, okay, they find it quite hard to get jobs or employment opportunities. And okay, so this is what about the economic consequences of migration. So the main economic consequence of migration is the remittances which is sent by the migrant. So apart from the economic consequence, we can see the consequence of migration in the demography also. Demography means in the characteristics of the population. Okay, because when the people they migrate from one region to another, what happens? The entire characteristics of the population it gets changed. Okay, the rural-urban migration is one of the important factors contributing the population growth of cities. So basically, in our country, the population is increasing rapidly in the urban areas or in the cities just because of rural to urban migration. Okay, just because of rural to urban migration. So age and the skill selective out migrant from the rural areas have adverse effect on the rural demographic structure. Okay, so age and skill selective out migrant. Okay, so basically, okay, like people of the lower age group, okay, and who are semi-skilled and they're skilled, they are migrating from the rural area to the urban area actually. So what is happening? The demographic structure of the rural area is getting changed. More number of males are migrating. Okay, so only the females are left behind. Okay, and who are migrating? Basically, the people who are young actually they are migrating. So who are left behind? Basically, the young children. Okay, the children's and the old age peoples and all. Okay, so the demographic structure of the characteristics of the population changes in the rural area. Not only this, but the places where they are migrating, okay, or you can say the cities where they are migrating, there also, okay, the entire demographic structure gets changed. High out migration from Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and eastern Maharashtra have brought serious imbalances in age and sex composition in the states. Okay, so out migration from Uttarakhand, from Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and eastern Maharashtra have brought about a serious imbalance in the age and the sex composition of the states. Okay, that means the entire sex ratio and the age composition has got affected. Okay, and similar imbalances are also brought in the recipient states. Okay, and similar imbalance can also be noticed in those places where these people migrate. Okay, so this is what about the demographic consequence. Okay, so demographic consequence of migration basically refers to the changes which takes place, okay, in the demography, in the characteristics of population, in both the place of origin and in the place of destination. The next is the social consequence. Okay, social consequence is another important consequence of migration, because when the people they are migrating from one state to another or from one place to another, okay, the place where they are migrating, it is a totally new place for that particular person. So it may take time for him to adjust in that particular area, okay, as well as to adjust with the people of that particular area. Okay, so like what happens is that some changes takes place in the social setup. Okay, suppose a person who is migrating from West Bengal to Kerala. So the person who is migrating from West Bengal to Kerala, he's a Bengali speaking person. And when he is migrating to Kerala, he has to speak in some other language actually. Okay, Tamil and so he may find it difficult, okay, like to adjust with the people of that. And even the food habit is different. The maybe sometimes the religion is different and all. Okay. So what is happening is like some social changes takes place. Okay. So how the social change takes place that we are going to discuss. Migrants act as agents of social change. Okay, so the people who are migrating, okay, they are known as the migrants. So these migrants, they act as agents of social change. Okay, so they cause both positive and negative changes in the society. How? So when the people are migrating from the rural areas to the urban areas, okay, they come in contact with the urban society. So they come to know many things about the urban society, where they can see that the female childs are going to the schools, females are working. Okay, they come to know about the modern technology. Okay, they become aware about the family plannings and all. Okay, so these people who has migrated from the rural to the urban area, okay, they come to know about various aspects. Okay, and they implement the same thing in the rural areas also. Okay, so what is happening, like when these people they go back to the rural areas, okay, there's they cause some changes in the society. Okay, and this is why we have seen that even in the rural areas also now the female education rate is increasing. Okay, people are now has become aware about the family planning methods and all. Okay, as well as migration leads to intermixing of people from diverse culture. Okay, so migration leads to the intermixing of the people. Okay, so I'm just give an example that when the people from Bengal they're migrating to the southern Indian states, okay, so our culture and their culture is totally different. Okay, so there's an intermixing of culture. The people who is migrating from here, he comes to know about various cultural aspects of the people living in the South India, as well as from these people who has migrated, the people of that particular states or that particular area, okay, they also come to know something, okay, from the migrant people actually. So it has positive contributions such as evolution of the composite culture and breaking through the narrow consideration and widen of the mental horizon of the people at a large. Okay, so because of this intermixing of the people, what has happened? The outlook of the Indian society has changed. Before the people were narrow-minded. Okay, they were following their culture religiously and all. But now, as because of intermixing of culture, okay, now this narrow thinking of the people has been reduced to some extent. Okay, the mental horizon of the people has been widened up to a large extent actually. So, which is a positive change of migration actually. Okay, so suppose many of the students, okay, after completing their class 12th and all, they will be going to different other states to carry out the studies. So they will be coming to know about the a new culture, new language, new food habits, and all. Okay, so they will adapt with that. So they are learning something new, and even they will be spreading their language, they will be spreading their food habit, their culture, and all to the students of their places. Okay, so like this, the intermixing of the culture takes place, which is a positive one. Okay, but it also has some negative consequence. Okay, migration also has caused some negative consequences, negative social consequences. Okay, sometimes what happens, the people who are migrating to the new place, they find it very difficult, okay, to adjust with the people, to adjust with the society, okay, adjust with the culture. So a gap is created between the local people and the between the migrant people. And in that case, the migrant people, they that particular person may find demotivated actually. Okay, he may think himself as a rejected, that he's not been accepted by the people of that area. Okay, a sense of rejection may arise in him actually. Okay, so such kind of continuous sense of rejection, not able to adjust with the new society, new culture and all, okay, may motivate him to fall into the trap of antisocial activities and all. Okay, such as crime, drug abuse, and all. Okay, so this is one of the negative consequence of migration actually. Okay. The next is the environmental consequence. The environmental consequence of migration is another vital consequences of migration. Okay, it is another important consequence of migration, because when the people are migrating, okay, not only the economy or the demography or the social setup changes, but they also cause impact on the environmental conditions. Okay, they also cause some changes in the environment. So here we have seen. So basically, we notice in our country that most of the people are migrating from the rural area to the urban area. Okay, from the rural area to the urban area. So when the people are migrating from the rural to the urban area, what is happening is that the urban areas are already saturated, overcrowded, and more number of people go to settle in those urban areas. So what happens? More pressure is created on the available infrastructure as well as on the resources. Okay, so it causes environmental degradation. Like when more number of people will start migrating to the urban areas, the demand of water, the demand of housing will increase. So what will happen? There will be scarcity of water. Okay, the water limited water resources will be overutilized, and it will cause degradation of the water bodies. Moreover, okay, the like there will be more demand of housing facilities, okay, and more, as well as we know that housing cost is very much high in the big cities and all. So the people migrating from the rural areas, they cannot afford it. So where they will be staying, they will be staying in the slum like structures and all, okay. So like it may hamper their health conditions and all, okay. So overcrowding of people due to the rural urban migration has put pressure on the existing social and the physical infrastructure in the urban area. And this ultimately leads to the unplanned growth of urban settlement and formation of the slum shanty colonies. Okay, so because of over population, okay, there's an unplanned growth of the city. Okay, and slum-like conditions are being formed. Okay. So apart from this, due to over exploitation of the natural resources, the cities are facing the acute problem of depletion of groundwater. Okay, so obviously when the population will increase, there will be higher demand of water. Okay, and higher demand of water will means people will start utilizing the groundwater resources. Okay, so there will be a depletion of the groundwater. More number of people, okay, means more use of the vehicles, more use of the this gases and all, okay, for cooking materials and all. So more air pollution will take place. Okay, there will be problem in the disposal of the sewage and management, because there will be the manager, okay, the drainage systems and all, it may collapse, okay, it may break down actually. So in that case there will be problem, okay, to sort out this disposal of waste products and all. Okay, so it may cause the environmental issues and all. Okay. So these are the environmental consequences actually. Okay, these are the environmental consequences which takes place, okay, because of migration. So apart from these causes, okay, apart from the economic consequences, apart from the demographic consequences, social consequences, and environmental consequences, there are also other consequences which takes place because of migration, such as migration, okay, affects the status of women directly or indirectly. So the status of the woman, it gets affected directly or indirectly because of the migration. Okay, even excluding the marriage migration. See, in the rural areas, male selective out migration, leaving their wives behind, put extra physical as well as mental pressure on the women. So who are migrating from the rural to the urban areas? Basically the working males. Okay, so when these working males, they migrate to the urban areas, who are left behind? Basically the females, their wives and the other family members are left behind. So the wife has to look after the entire family. Okay, she has to work hard, okay, to carry out the household activities. Okay, even sometimes she has to work in the agricultural fields if they are having the agricultural lands and all. Okay, so in the rural areas, male selective outmigration, leaving their wives behind, puts extra pressure as well as mental pressure on the women. Okay, and migration of women, either for education or employment, enhances their autonomy and role in the economy, but also increases their vulnerability. Okay, and even many a times we can see that the women, they migrate, okay, to some of the other areas, basically from the rural to the urban areas, for education or for employment opportunities and all. Okay, so it is a positive change actually, because the autonomy of the women's, okay, get enhanced. Okay, they become more empowered, but at the same time, in many cases actually they get vulnerable actually. Okay, but we should not look at this vulnerability, but we must focus on the autonomy they are enjoying actually, because when the females, they are migrating, okay, like nowadays we can see even the females are migrating from the rural to the urban areas for education, for employment opportunities and all. Okay, so it is a positive change actually. Okay, so if remittances are the major benefits of migration from the point of view of source region, the loss of human resources, particularly highly skilled people, is the most serious cause. So which I have already said, if we are getting the remittances from the migrant people, okay, that is fine. But on the other hand, what we are losing is we are losing the human resource, because who are migrating? The highly skilled people, the semi-skilled people, they are migrating. Okay, so there's a loss of the human resource because they are working for the other countries, they are working for the other places. Okay. The market for advanced skill has become truly a global market, and the most dynamic industrial economies are admitting and recruiting significant proportion of the highly trained professionals from the poor regions. Okay, so basically you will notice that the topmost MNCs, multinational companies, okay, which are situated in different other countries of the world actually, okay, they hire the highly talented persons, the highly skilled persons from the poor countries. Okay, why? Because they know that they can be hired at a very cheaper price, okay, at a very low wages and all. Okay, and these people, okay, who are migrating, for them the salary is very high, they are migrating, okay, and they are working from the other, for the other MNCs, for the other countries. So the other country and the other MNCs are getting benefited, and our country, it is suffering loss. What kind of loss? Human resource loss. Okay, so these are the various consequences of migration, okay, which takes place in the society because of migration.